Welcome to Breaking Fears.
Hey YouTube world, it's your man Rico here with another video. Out walking around, trying to get some exercise in and lose some weight. And I think this is one of the best ways to do it, is to walk. Not a lot of impact and saves your body when you get older. But this video that I'm recording, you'll see on Friday, is kind of, well, not kind of, but it's following what I did on Tuesday about don't let your bad fears stop you. So today's video is going to be about living outside of your box. So I was online and I was trying to find a good video to use an example about living outside of your box. And all I ran into were videos talking about living out of your comfort zone or stop living in your comfort zone. And it's the same thing as saying living outside of your box. They're the same thing. The thing that I'm thinking about, or that I'm going to talk about today, is not just living outside of your box encompassing everything, because all the videos I watched were like motivational speaking, living out of your comfort zone, and that was basically talking about becoming successful and getting out of your comfort zone and doing things to become successful. This isn't about just becoming successful. My thing is about overcoming your fears, because that's all what this is about. Living outside of your box or living outside of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is because you don't want to face those fears. So that's why it's talking about that. So I'm going to go in after this walk and continue this conversation because of the noise out here, and I'm hoping you could hear me. Plus, I don't like shaky cameras, and I think I'm shaking because I'm holding my camera and trying to talk and walk, and I'm hoping the volume is good on this. I'll continue this after my walk. Okay, here I am, done with my walk, done with my job, working my 40 hour a week job in my office, doing my YouTube, talking to you. So, as I stated when I was taking my walk, this video is about living outside of your box. So, after I did my video on Tuesday, and I had stated that I'm going to follow up with this video, I went online and I was trying to find what else or who else talked about this type of topic. And I do see a lot of people talking about living outside your comfort zone, or not living outside, but getting out of your comfort zone. And I did see a couple of people saying living out of your bubble, live outside of your bubble, all this stuff. It's all the same. But I've noticed most of it's just like trying to help you to achieve more money. I'm telling you, people, money's not the thing of life. Life is about life. Going out there and experiencing life. If you're just going to sit up here, create this little box with these four walls and say, hey, that looks nice and cozy in there, and step inside and be very comfortable because you know the scenery, you know the people who are inside that box, you know that the bad things aren't going to get you because everybody around you, so on and so forth. But as life goes on, the world around that box changes. You don't know what's going on around or outside of those walls, outside those four walls. So you're kind of trapping yourself in a repetitive life. For instance, when 2020 hit, I was doing quite a bit, going out and doing things. So it locked everybody in. I didn't realize this, but 2020 did bring on a depression because now you're locked inside of this box, and everybody was complaining about it. People were trying to get out. They were doing a lot of van lifing. That's how van lifing became really big. RVing became really big. But and there were people out there doing it before them. And some people call people who did RV life nomads, gypsies, whatever you want to call them. They used to cut them down. Oh, they're bums. They don't have no. They're lazy. This and that. No, they weren't. They're living their life. They're living the best life that any of us are doing. Most of us are doing these 40-hour jobs, living inside this box just to accumulate stuff that we really don't need. Basically, to keep up with the Joneses. You know, I was never into keeping up with the Joneses, but I'm a techie guy, so I like a lot of tech. So I was doing a lot of stuff with that. I even stopped doing that because as I noticed, it was kind of taking up a lot of my space inside my box. But it's funny how you said that. But anyway, we got to get outside of the box. We got to tear those walls down. You got to get out and do and live life. Stop saying it's short. It's not short. You're making it short because you're just doing repetitive things. Living inside of a bubble, living inside of a box, living because of a comfort zone. That's all based off of fear. Fear of not wanting to be, how can I put it, hurt. That's all what it is. You don't want to go outside that box because you're afraid that someone's going to hurt you or you're going to leave and it's not going to be what you expected. You don't know unless you go out there. And that's part of life. That's part of living life and learning new things. And for those of you who are like money hungry and want to be successful, that's the only way you're going to grow is to get outside that box, because there's more money outside of that box than there is inside of that box. So this goes for everyone who's out there living inside of your box. You could become very depressed. You could feel like you're drowning. You could feel like even some people get so depressed living inside of that box. Sometimes people think about committing suicide because they don't see there's nothing of value in life because they haven't gone outside that box. They're just inside the box. And let me put it this way. If you create this box, this so-called comfort zone, and you allow harmful things inside that box, guess what? Now you're trapped inside this box with these harmful things. That's going to bring depression. That's going to bring you to say, why am I here? You have to break out of those four walls and go through things. One of my things that I had decided years ago was to take mini vacations. Mini vacations every weekend. Go somewhere, drive somewhere. When COVID hit, and I'll probably say a little bit prior to COVID hitting, I kind of stopped. Why? Because I was starting to get back into just living inside that box. Go to bed, get up, go to work, get home, clean up whatever you need to clean up, and then get ready for the next day. So you could go to bed, get up, go to work, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. That was my comfort zone. That was my box. So now I'm trying to get back out of that box. I had written down a list of things that I want to do before. They call it the bucket list, where you go and you do all these things before you die. There's a lot of things out there. I did lose touch of what I want. It's kind of scary because when you're in that box for so long, what happens is you lose touch with a lot of things. With me, I didn't lose touch with reality. I got too deep into reality, which can also cause depression, because you see the truth of everything. Once you see the truth of everything, now you've got to start going out and seeing the good things that you see the truth in. Go out and physically feel it, touch it, and see it, because that will bring life back into you. So what I did, I created a bucket list of areas that I want to go visit. And I'm going to start doing it again, going out every weekend. If I don't have the money, don't have the funds, it's going to be a driving thing where I just drive, find a cheap hotel, go out the next day, visit what I need to do, and then drive back home. But again, it's going outside of my box. I'm not at home. I'm not stuck at home. I'm not stuck in the familiar place. Let me put it this way. One time I was talking to a couple of people, a couple of individuals, and it was kind of scary. This was before COVID. I got a reference before and after COVID because COVID has put a hit on a lot of people worse than it was prior to it. So this is prior to COVID, and there is a town. We'll say town Betsy, right? I'm just making this up in Winkle Country. So Betsy Town in Winkle Country is next to Power Town. So I was talking to these individuals. I said, "Hey, have you ever been to Power Town?" And they're like, "Power Town, where's that?" We were literally, I would say maybe 6, 7, not even that, probably less than that. Let's just say 5 miles. But we were 5 miles away from the borderline between Betsy and Power. Literally. I mean, you could ride a bike and literally cross and be into Power Town. The people were asking me, "Rico, where's Power Town? We never heard of that before." And I looked at them like, it's right next door to Betsy. Oh man, wow. Yeah, no, I've never been out of Betsy. I've all my life I lived in Betsy. And it really surprised me. And these are individuals that used to always say life is short. I used to always hear them say, "Oh, you better do something because life is short. Oh, you got to get out there and get what you got to get because life is short." And it really kind of caught me off guard that how many people are like them that have never like traveled outside of their little town, in their city, outside of their state. It was just amazing to hear how many people have never traveled out of a certain comfort, circumference of their home. I knew this one guy because again, thinking about this stuff, I knew this one guy I used to work with for years, and he lost his driver's license. Never, like when he was younger, never got his driver's license back. So I think the gentleman was, I was in my 30s, and I think he was like in his late 40s, if I'm not mistaken. And he had lost his driver's license when he was in his 20s. So for all these years, he hadn't had a driver's license. So he worked at this one company in the warehouse for 20 something years. What he would do, and I'm not exaggerating, he would get up. His house was walking distance now because he didn't have his driver's license. Walking distance was about between 15, I think he said between 15 and 20 minutes. Walking distance. He got the job there because it was that close to his house. And he never wanted to go to do anything else because that was comfortable for him. And he didn't never thought about going to get his license again. So all his life it was get up, walk to work. Now, mind you, this is a cold climate state, so you had your winter time he's walking to work, and you had his summer times walking to work, rainy days, whatever it is. He was like the postman of going to work. And one time, there was a couple of guys that worked in a warehouse as well, and they lived in Indiana, so they would drive from Indiana to Illinois, and that's what I'm talking about. So They one time asked him because the guy liked to hunt, and he had like I said, it was a circumference that he lived in that he wouldn't go out of because one, he didn't have transportation, and two, not that many people like him went too far. So they asked him if he wanted to go hunting with them because he liked to hunt, and he mentioned where he was going to hunt, and they're like, no, no, where we go is great. It's in Indiana, right on the border of Illinois and Indiana. So the gentleman goes, "Oh, I don't go. I only know this." He named a few towns and little forest areas, and he goes, "That's all I travel. I don't go out anywhere else." But he was always complaining of not having money. He was always complaining of, "Oh, I'm tired of this job." He was always complaining. I don't think he was ever depressed, but he was always complaining. And it just, the reason why I'm bringing this story up, because, like I said, as I think about people like this, you always wonder, why don't you ever get outside of your box, get outside of the comfort zone? Because that's why you're so depressed, so tired. You don't think there's much in life because you do not get out of that box. It's fear. I know for him it was fear to travel or hunt in another area that he wasn't familiar with. That's what it was. He was not familiar with that area, so he was afraid to go. Again, living outside of your box, it's all about fear. And we as individuals have to get out of that. We have to fight that fear and start living our lives and start getting out of our comfort zone, getting out of our bubble, getting out of the box. I say the box, and live life. Life is very long. It's what you do with it that makes it either short or long. Get out there, people. Enjoy life. One last tidbit. For those that say, oh, you probably could say that because you have money. And no, I worked a second job back then. I had like at one point I had three jobs. Uh, Delivering papers, doing a little part-time job, doing something else, and I had a full-time job. That part-time jobs, those part-time jobs, or that one part-time job when I went down to two jobs, was paying for what I was doing when I traveled on the weekends. And then on top of that, I'm gonna tell you this: that delivering papers took me out of my comfort zone. Yeah, you had a route, you had to keep doing that route, but that route was way from where I lived, and it was in an area that I had no idea about. But after delivering those papers, I'm like, whoa, I wonder if I could get another route. I need to drive around this area. I need to go this area. I was getting familiar with where I lived, the state that I lived in. A lot of people want to go on vacations. Have you ever just went from town to town to find out what's in your state? It doesn't cost much. Take a gas and a hotel room. Then if you want to bag up some food, like back in the day with my family, when we used to go on long trips, my parents used to bag little lunches and put them in a cooler. And if we're like, we're hungry, hey, get your brother a sandwich out the cooler and get him one of them juice boxes. We didn't really have juice boxes, but get him some of that juice that's in there. Serious, people. And with the technology today, you watch some of these van life people, you might not even have to even get a hotel room. You could sleep in the back of your van. You could sleep in the back of your car. You could, whatever it may be. And they've got portable stoves. They got portable refrigerators. These generators that could power that up for days. These solar generators. I mean, they got so much stuff for you today in this era. And again, if you're living in a box, you might not know because you're not going outside of those walls to learn these things. And that's why I say get out of that box. Start learning. Start doing. You got a long life. Enjoy it while you can. And with that, I want to say thank you for watching. I hope I encourage you to go and learn and do something new today. Break the fear of not knowing something and go learn about it. Thank you for watching. Like, comment. Like I always say, I love comments. Give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you want to do. But I love the comments. Until our next video, see ya!